Donny, the undercover cop with a death wish. I'm surprised you're still alive.
Yes, well, that's what my son said to me as well. They gave me a printed out piece of paper and there's your name, Donny Wilson, and that's it. Okay, that's you from now on. Donny's that crazy, life of the party. He'd be in the middle of all the blokes telling a story. If someone said, go and steal that, go and do that, go and do something stupid, Donny would do it. As the time goes on, you get more anti-police. Like whenever you see a cop car, you give it the finger. It was New Year's Eve, being 2000. People were really partying like it was the last night on earth. And then I opened the sliding door and saw her, and there she was right in the middle of the room. She'd used a electrical cord around the rafters, and I could tell straight away, she was looking straight at me.
At just 25 years of age, Queensland police officer Todd Maguire got out of bed to find the love of his life had taken her own life. To outrun his grief, Todd threw himself into the world of undercover policing and became Donny. Donny was reckless, Donny was dangerous, and he was immersed in a world of drugs and violence, where one wrong look or one wrong word could get you killed. Take a listen. Todd Maguire, welcome to I Catch Killers.
Thank you, Gary. Thank you for having me.
I'm glad I've got you on I Catch Killers, but having read your book, the Donny, the undercover cop with a death wish, I'm surprised you're still alive.
Yes. Well, that's what my son said to me as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I said, aren't you lucky too?
Yeah. Well, yeah. If you died, he's not here. You went to some dark places. There was some dark times in your life, and we'll talk about it. But to turn it around is a big thing too, because honestly, I was reading the book and I'm thinking, sort of a third of the way through, I'm going to have to speak to some blokes that know you to see how you're going, because I thought you might be a clusterfuck by the end of it, but you spent a long time in the police after your time in undercover, so you managed to turn yourself around.
Well, I think I did. A lot of people may disagree with that. Yeah. It's certainly been a bumpy road along the way, but I've always maintained to keep going forward,
Well, you had a personal tragedy in your life, and that's, to put it into context, by the time you went into UC work, you almost had the attitude you didn't give a stuff.
Yeah.
Like as in, well, if something happens to me, it'll take the pain away.
Exactly.
Which is pretty scary, but I would imagine it's a superpower also in the work that you're doing as an undercover.
Yeah. And I think that's where, I wasn't going in there to, get all the awards and the prizes and, get some fella that they hadn't got in years and, well done, Donny, well done, Donny. I was like, that's not what I'm here for. I don't care. I just wanted to find a place where I could really escape.
And when you talk Donny, that's your undercover name, or one of your undercover names.
Yeah, that was they gave me, first one.
And my reading of it in the book is that you were using Donny to escape from Todd.
Exactly. Donny became the alter ego.
Todd's life had gone to shit, and there was a lot of pain there, and just jump into Donny, and all the pain goes, and you focus on that.
Yeah, I did, and I focused on that a lot at the time, thinking, this is what I need. I need to escape. I'm not remembering what's happening. Pushing it down. You finished undercover work. Same thing, you get straight into detective work, and as you know, bang, you just don't have a chance to think.
Let's talk about, to put in perspective, the darkness that you found yourself in. Let's talk a little bit about your early life and why did you join the cops? Where'd you grow up, and what inspired you to join the cops? I want you to tell the story about what was the island that you were working on, because I think that was...
Dunk Island,
yeah. I want you to tell that story too.
Sort of, yeah. So I was pretty lucky. Grew up in the north side of Brisbane, which back in those sort of days, you're only 10 or 15 kilometres from the centre, but it was fairly rural. And I just spent all my weekends on my pushy, just going around, all the hills and stuff like that, and just playing sport, heaps of sport as well. Great family, as I said earlier, and and I think I went to a school on the north side of Brisbane, Padua College, and that was really big at footy.
Yeah.
And we had a really good time. Still mates with blokes I went to school with, and just had a really good culture there. And and I think the way that was sort of set up for me as well was being around, it's sort of like a bit of a cocoon, really, like, because, you know, you want to do that as a parent. You want to put your kid into the best sort of supportive nature. But what I found out later, when there was adversity, I didn't know how to deal with it because I had not I'd been worried about it, hadn't had it happen to me.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Hadn't had that resilience built up in you at that stage because you had no setbacks.
Yeah.
So, you grew up around there. Rugby league was a big thing for you, and playing team sports.
Yeah, loved it.
Work-wise, did you have any ambitions? You were looking at being a professional rugby league player, but I think you stuffed that up with a trip to Sydney.
I worked it out pretty quick.
Yeah. If you're embarrassed to tell the story, I'll tell it for you. You come down here trialling for an NRL team, and you're a teenager, and you and your mate decided it would be a good idea to go to King's Cross for the night before the trials. How did you perform at the trials?
Well, I thought I played well, but I thought I must have been running the wrong way or playing the ball in the wrong direction or something, mate. Yeah, I wasn't good, but as I say, you know, I could have had the best preparation in the world and it still wouldn't have made any difference, mainly.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah. So I would describe you as an average type fella, a bit loose, not knowing what direction your life would go in.
Yeah,
and then you came up with the idea that working on Dunk Island might be the go. You were trying to sort of break away and find yourself. Tell us what happened there.
Yeah. I had a couple of injuries in footy, so I thought it'd be a good time for me to go and branch out. There was always the lure of the islands and all that sort of stuff back in the 90s. And I'd been working in some nightclubs and pubs and restaurants in Brisbane. I went, no, we'll go up and do that. So, it was fun. It really was a lot of fun. It was good for a young fella, and it was, you know, like every work, it's time to move on, and the general manager asked me to move on, and that was
well, it's in the book, so I'll say it. There was a slight indiscretion, and there's no judgment here, but you were with a lady that happened to be the girlfriend of the band that was on the island, and as a result of that situation, the band quit, and you got fired.
Yeah, very understandable as well. All I can say is I laid myself bare in the book, and I told everything, all the good things, the bad things, silly things.
Well, it's better to get it out there, I think, than you're not sitting on a secret. The type of life that you're living, you were a bit directionless, I think, and you're enjoying the partying, having the good times. That would have helped, I dare say, when you did go into undercover work.
Yeah, definitely.
Being able to mix in that environment and be a bit loose, because you need to be loose and be able to get on with people. Yeah,
the confidence of, you know, holding a group of people, talking, being that certain person. Yeah. When you're behind a bar and you're sort of, you know, controlling a bar, you got the same thing.
When did you discover you wanted to be a cop?
Yeah, so after I'd sort of left Dunk Island, Port Douglas, I went up there for a bit and then moved back down to Sanctuary Cove, down the Gold Coast.
Yep.
And, you know, I got to a middle management there and I thought, here we go. But that took about 80, 90 hours a week.
Yeah.
And I wanted to start playing footy again.
Yeah.
So that was my only focus. I didn't care about work then. It was like footy. So I started playing footy on the Gold Coast and sort of made it back up to A grade, and that was pretty good. And I was at the Parkwood Tavern one day with a mate who was in the cops. And, he sort of said, I was whinging about, as you whinge about your work, mate, I started at 3 this morning, a group came in, we did this, didn't finish till like 6, and my eyes are hanging out now. I've got to be back at 2 in the morning, and it was just non-stop, and I wasn't getting paid well at all, not hospitality. And he goes, why don't you join the cops? I went, no way, mate. Never thought of it in my life. No, don't like cops. I think I said that at the time. But he goes, this bloke, me, I went, oh yeah, they're all fairly decent fellas. Yeah, well, it's only blokes like us. I went, that's all right. And we play footy, you know that? I went, really? I'm in. And then actually, he said to me so many times, go on, do it. And I said, okay. If I say yes, will you shut up? One of those ones?
Yeah.
And I do your deal. If I get in, I get in. If I don't get in, I'm not applying again. I got in.
Okay.
And I got in.
And that your life started to take a different direction from there. Where were you first stationed at?
It was on the Gold Coast. Yeah, Broadbeach.
And what years are we talking here?
This was 97.
Okay, so that would have been some wild times.
Yeah, it was, yeah. It was exactly what I wanted.
How you enjoyed the work?
Yeah, I loved it. Absolutely loved it. My very first shift was a Friday night, starting at midnight in Surfers Paradise.
How'd you find that?
Initially, I was worried because not like the holster you have there. It was an old leather one that you didn't even the clip would hardly even stay in. It would always fall out, and I wasn't used to wearing that, and it felt like I kept on looking. It's gone. I think it's gone. Especially, I reckon we got in about 5 or 6 fights that night.
Yeah.
And each one of them, I said, that's gonna go. That's gone.
It's a strange thing, isn't it? Strutting around with a gun strapped to the side of your leg.
Especially when you're not used to it.
Yeah.
You're worried about so many other things, and there's just people everywhere knocking into you, and then you're rolling around the floor, fighting someone.
Yeah. You met a lady that first couple of years, young cop. I would imagine you're having a good time, young cop,
living in the barracks
on the Gold Coast, and having a circle of friends that want to party with you after working. You met a lady, Karen.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I wasn't sort of really looking for anyone.
Yeah,
and I was blown away when I saw her at first at the casino one night, and I asked a mate of mine, what's going on over here? He goes, oh, no, just broke up with a hubby about 6 months ago.
Yeah.
I went, well, she looks pretty good to me. So I gave it a go, and it was a bit clumsy, and then I had to work on her for about, I reckon, 3 months. So I thought I'd use a uniform and see how that worked, and it did. So I went around to work every now and it just worked. So.
Just a thought, wanker just came into my head. That,
I know. I was only like second year in the job, and someone had said, that'll work, and so I'll give it a go.
Yeah,
and it did.
So you got into a relationship with her, and she had a child from her marriage, and so you went from the reckless young fella living on the barracks to basically living with her and having fatherly duties.
Yeah.
How did you find that?
I really struggled.
Yeah.
I just didn't know how to do it.
Yep.
But also I had the back of my mind going, you're 25, come on.
Time to settle down.
Start growing up, mate.
Yeah.
So I thought, I better do that. Yeah. So I really put my head down and went, I do like this. I like this.
Yeah.
Started sort of living that sort of life and, dropping him to school, picking him up, or kindergarten, all that sort of stuff. And it was all looking good.
It gives you some purpose, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Sense of responsibility, and that you need to grow up.
Yes, yeah.
But basically,
I was 24. She was 31.
Yeah.
She'd be married with a kid, and
to
me, she was like a totally next generation.
Yeah.
And how did I get her?
I know it will be painful talking about this. There's reference in your book of all the good times that you had with her and how important Karen was in your life and her child. But when we talk the personal tragedy, are you comfortable talking about what happened?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, for years I never said anything.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to catch up with it now.
Okay. If you could tell the listeners what happened.
The whole story?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So obviously, Karen wasn't home, and it was New Year's Eve, being 2000.
Yep.
So Y2K, when everyone remembers what the millennial bug was.
The world was going to end.
We were supposed to end the next day. I think we've heard this before, haven't we? And so there was a little bit, people were talking about it. There was a little bit of buzz in the air. And I remember, that New Year's Eve, just listening to the holiday makers. I don't think I've heard noise like it since.
Yeah.
I think people were really partying like it was the last night on earth. So me and a few other bloke coppers were, boyfriend, girlfriend with the other boys and girls. And so the men and the women, we were going to work at 10, all the women were going out having a drink. We had to go to work. So we sort of had a dinner first, and then we'd drop the girls over, and then we'd go to work.
Yeah.
And so anyway, we're sitting around having dinner, and I remember the old Nokia 6110s or 3110s or whatever, if you didn't do the enter and star, you didn't lock it or something. So it sounded like I just did a bit of a pocket dial, and I thought, I better go and clear that and fix it. And I had 666 on it, and I just went, have a look at this, people.
Devil's
look at this.
thought.
Yeah, looks like the world is going to be end. I just got a message. Just being a joker. And everyone laughed. It was good, yeah. So anyway, the girls went out. It was a busy night. Lots of drunks, lots of fights. The night went pretty quick. She was having a great night. She was keeping sort of me abreast of what was going on. I'd found out earlier, which I wasn't happy about, that she'd had half an ecstasy pill.
Right.
And I was pretty sure that she hadn't had one before, so I was a little bit worried. So I wanted to keep in contact with her and make sure she was fine.
Yeah.
And she was great all the night through. No fights, no arguments, no nothing. Picked her up at 5:30. She's still great. One of her friends was left there, so we dropped her home on the way home, and then went home, back out to Mudgeeraba, which is almost like, hinterland, sort of across the other side of the Bruce Highway. And so we sort of sat back, had a bit of coffee, cup of tea, and we thought better get to bed, because I had to work at 4 o'clock this afternoon, because it was a quick shift back. Just sort of get back into it. So when that happened, I said, "Oh, come on, my eyes are hanging out. I really need to get some sleep." She's gone to bed. Everything's fine. But I woke up about an hour or two later, and I heard the door. And, she was at the door with someone, and it was her ex-husband bringing the young fella over. And she's come back in, and she was a little bit annoyed with herself. And I said, "What's wrong?" And she said, "I forgot to get the young fella today. I really did." I went, "Oh." Yeah, she said, "Oh, no, I feel so bad." I went, "I don't know, that happens. Don't." She was crying then, and she was, "I've been a bad mum," and all that sort of stuff. And I go, "No, you're not. You're not a bad mum. You're a good mum, and you're just tired. You're emotional. You're fatigued. Let's go and have some sleep. We'll put him down, watch a movie, lock all the doors. He usually doesn't move." So did that, and as soon as I hit the bed, pillow, I was out.
Yeah.
And the next thing I knew was hearing, Mummy, where are you? Murray, by the little fella. And he's sort of walking around our bed. And I sort of, I rolled over and I didn't, she's not there. I went, I've got to get up. When you're tired and your kids sort of calling you, not thinking anything at all. I said, "Okay, let's go and find Mummy." I sort of picked him up. And he was about 4, and I was just sort of mucking around with him. "Is she in this room?" No, and it was sort of, he's giggling.
Yeah.
And I remember looking, no, she's not in the kitchen. Keys are still there, car's still there. She hasn't gone anywhere. Downstairs, that's where. She must be in the laundry, because that was the only place we hadn't looked yet. Laundry was also a place where we could rent out and had a bed and a bit of a quasi sort of granny flat type thing.
Yeah.
So now, walking down, you had to go outside, down the side steps, and then back in under the house. Walking down with Clark, we're still having a bit of a joke. And then I opened the sliding door and saw her, and there she was right in the middle of the room. She'd used a electrical cord around the rafters, and she was gone. She was, I could tell straight away. She was looking straight at me. Not the face that I remembered her. Like, she really had changed a lot. My first thought was to get rid of the young fella. He doesn't need to see his mum like this. So it was probably the best footy pass I've ever done in my life. I wanted to get as far as I could from there. And so I did that, closed the door, and then that's when the shock hit me. I was like, I don't know how long I stood there, but I'm just looking at her. And I remember getting hit so hard on my chest. It was like a footy hit, like a truck. It was physical. And it also felt like it just slashed my whole open. My legs couldn't move. I dropped to the knees. I was like, what? I'm screaming at her. Why? What the hell? Got to the stage where I picked her up, and sort of helped take the weight off, because I thought, I want to get it back. It was so coiled underneath with the electrical cord, how it gets rubbery, and I couldn't move it. I needed a third hand, but I wasn't going to ask Clark. So I thought, okay, what am I going to do? I'm looking around, there's nothing. So I had to slowly just put it down, and that didn't feel good either. Raced back upstairs, got a kitchen knife, cut it down, laid it down, took it around her neck, and just started CPR. And I thought I got it back. I really did, because I saw the chest going up and down. But when I worked out, it was just my breath going in, going out again. I don't know how long I did it for. I don't remember. Everything was real. What I remember of the day, I've only found out recently that when I rang one of my good mates, when I was looking at it going, what the fuck do I do? I didn't know that.
Yeah, well,
that just...
That type of shock and trauma that takes you to a place that most people are not familiar with.
Yeah. I didn't know what to do, and it got to the stage where I went, okay, this is not... I could tell. Her neck wasn't right, and her face didn't look good, and all that was happening.
Yeah.
And I just went, what am I going to do with Clark? What's Clark doing? So I raced back outside, and he's just standing right next to the wall. He's still not any idea of what's going on. So I just picked him up, got on the AAA and said, can you come here? And I remember sitting upstairs, at the front in the gutter with him, and you could hear the sirens. And when I found out later, it took like 7 minutes to get here. It felt like 7 hours. I don't know what they were going to do, but I just needed someone to be there with me. I didn't know what to do. It was like, you felt so helpless. Yeah.
And being confronted like something like that, I would imagine you're not thinking rationally. It's just overwhelming. Would have been you being a police officer, you'd also understand what takes place then. Police are called out, you'd be spoken to and questioned, and they'd be getting details. How did that feel from the victim's point of view, more so than from or an involved person's point of view in a suicide situation, rather than from a police officer's perspective?
It felt like shit.
Yeah.
It really did. And I think I've written in the book when the detective inspector sort of asked me, what'd you use your knife for?
Yeah.
But it wasn't just that. It was really ripping into me. And I wasn't equipped for that one. I didn't know how to handle that. I think I went into a bit of a hole there. I didn't know, going, what is he doing? What's he? Like, being a second-year copper, I didn't know what the hell was going on there. I now understand he was obviously ruling me out and he had to do all of those things, because I know that now after, spending the next 20-something years as a detective. But at the time, I didn't know what the hell was going on. I said, what's going on? Am I a suspect here or something? So, yeah, it threw me a bit, and I felt really fucking shit about it,
Yeah.
I know it's only one person, and in hindsight, he was what he was supposed to do.
Yeah.
But I felt that the organisation was not supporting me because of that comment at the time. Yeah.
But now you understand why that type of thing has to be
definitely
done. Look, we could talk about this, the impact it had on you for hours, and I'm sure it was a life-changing event. But the way I would describe from that, you've found yourself in a dark hole after that had occurred.
Yeah, I did. I didn't know how to deal with it.
Yeah.
I had the white picket fence on semi-rural property on Gold Coast hinterland with a beautiful lady and a son, ready-made family. The next day, gone. Absolutely gone. I had a suitcase, a TV and a bed. That was it left.
Yeah.
And I remember sitting on this. I went to my sister's place, and she had a same sort of thing, a granny flat type stuff, and I was sort of living downstairs. And I think that I didn't put the screws in properly, whatever, and I sat on the bed, and it went down, hit the ground, and I just went, what else?
When your bed collapses.
Yeah, and it was only a minor thing, but
yeah.
That's when you just go, when I'm down, man, why do that?
Yeah.
And that's where I went, what have I got? What have I got? How hard is it now to start? What do I do? How do I start? What do I do? Like, yeah.
Was the anger? Was the emotion? Was it anger? Was it grief? It was what?
Which day?
Yeah. Okay.
It was different every day. Yeah, and I do remember going through all of the different types.
Yeah.
I was really angry at her for a while. Then I was sad for her, and then I felt sorry for her. Then I supported her. Then I got angry again.
So the full range of emotions.
Yeah.
There was something in your book that I found interesting, and I want to discuss it because I have so many people on the podcast, and we talk so often about life-changing events where tragedies or horrendous crimes have occurred, and how people deal with the aftermath. And I thought it was interesting that you had how people responded around you, friends, family, without naming names. But a couple of points that you brought up that you want people to acknowledge what you're going through when you're dealing with a situation that you've just described. But you don't need people coming up to you and saying, and I've pulled out a couple of comments from your book, time heals all wounds. You'll be stronger for it. And then there was one bloke who said, I know how you feel because my uncle or great-uncle died of cancer. And you go fairly hard on those comments that was not what you needed at the time.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all. I don't blame them. I don't begrudge them for it.
Yeah.
Because prior to that, I would have said the same thing as well. People don't know what to say. And I think part of what I'm doing in this public space is to give people a few little tips of what to say. Sometimes you don't have to say anything.
Yeah.
You just sit in the gutter with them.
Well, it's interesting because we were having the chat about it the other day when we were talking, and I know a lot of families of victims of homicide have issues with, or just say it doesn't help us with the way people treat us, and sometimes good friends will cross the road to avoid them because they don't want to say anything because they just don't know what to say, which is understandable. People don't know what to say, and as you said, you're not cranky at the people for saying those things. They were trying to help, but you've suggested some comments along these lines that would be more beneficial if someone is dealing with someone that's been through a tragedy, similar to what you've done or what you've had occur to you. Comments such as, I can't imagine your heartbreak. This is really fucked. It's not fair. I'll be here even when you're not okay. My favourite memory of Karen is. And it's subtle changes, but significant changes, aren't they? Those type of comments. And I still remember a lady I had on the podcast said the best thing she had, and she had a tragedy, lost a child to a murder, when people just came up to her and one person just phoned up and said, you know what, life's fucked. And she said that was the best thing anyone could say to me. You've been through it. Yeah. Tell us those comments, how they help you more than the ones that we mentioned first up.
Well, yeah, like a lot of the ones is, you're lucky you're only young, there's more fish in the sea, it's going to make you...
that'll go down well.
Yeah, I mean, everyone said all the right things in their eyes, but what it did was it downplayed what had happened. Okay. Yeah, well, it's not that important. There's more fish out in the sea, or whatever. You'll be stronger for this. And I suppose over the years, and when you look at this is in the years 2000 and up to 2010. There was no podcast. There was no internet. There was nothing. All I had was all of my friends and my family who hadn't really gone through significant trauma. They were supportive, but didn't know how to say the right words. And that's where, I suppose, I kept pushing it down and down because I felt that I was getting... The way that they were talking was like that I was played down and it wasn't that big. So stop carrying on with it, and that's what it felt like. So right. I didn't want to bring it up again. I thought, people are sick of hearing this shit, But it wasn't until I started podcasts and, internet and everything in the, obviously, late to 16, 17, 18, 19, is when I started, podcasts from over America or UK or something, and going, wow, that's how I've been feeling for 25 years. Yeah. I've never heard anyone talk like that. It is real. I'm not a weirdo.
I can understand that you would be lost in your little world in that time, and you're quite right separating the time, and it was a couple of decades ago. The world was a completely different place then, and it would be basically. And the mantra of tough guys is, just suck it up, princess. Get on with your life. Build a bridge. Get over it. Those type of comments, which sound good in theory, but it doesn't actually work that way, does it?
Yeah, like in my reintegration from after Undercover, went up to Dutton Park and and I just went to the female inspector. She was a lovely lady, and I thought she would have understood and being compassionate. And I think back then she was trying to do the right thing, but in hindsight, you look at it, that's not the right thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And I said, for a couple of months, can I not go to suicides, please? She goes, you can't pick and choose what jobs you go to.
This was after.
Yeah, so reintegration,
Yep.
where I just had to go back and do GDs for 3 months.
Yeah, you wanted to avoid that.
I said, is there any way? And I could understand. It's not that easy just to go, you were in that car, don't go to that job.
Yeah.
You know, it's not that easy. But she goes, what we've got to do is we need to desensitise you for police work. So I'm going to send you the, go and watch some autopsies for a couple of days. I said, no, not going to do that. That is not going to fix me. Yeah.
It's as you said, trying to help, trying to manage it, but I don't think that would fly. We had it in homicide about baby deaths. We were doing a hell of a lot of baby deaths at one stage, and no one likes to do them, but it was mandatory reporting. So any child that died, we'd have to go to, and we're getting inundated with that. And I know that impacted on quite a few people, and it got to the point where they said, I just can't go to another baby death. So the period of time after Karen's suicide, I'd suggest was pretty dark for you. And the
QPS gave me, they agreed to give me 3 months off, which was great. But what that meant was that I was sitting in my sister's house. Everyone else has gone to work, and I'm just sitting there by myself going, for 3 months. What do you reckon I did? Found the bottle. You're sitting there for, in the morning, you're going, what am I going to do today?
Yeah.
Nothing. And next thing you know, got earlier and earlier each day, and I was writing myself off every day so I could go to sleep.
That's a warning sign, isn't it? When you start to drink earlier each day. You eventually went back to work. You went back to work in uniform. How long after it was you discovered you were interested in undercover work, and what made you think going down that path? Yeah,
when I went back up to Brisbane and went back to uniform, at Indooroopilly Station, I still didn't even know what undercover was. I had no interest in it, and I hadn't come across anyone that had done it, so it wasn't in my thoughts. But I did end up going into the CIB and just sort of relieved there for the next couple of months, and I worked with a fella, the Punisher, who he had just done undercover and was still living it.
That was his name, Punisher.
That was his nickname. Yeah.
Okay, I won't ask.
I just liked he liked the TV show or the movie, I think.
Right. Yeah.
And so he, in the car, he was just telling me all the stories, all the good stories.
Yeah.
And that I was really listening to them, going, this sounds all right. And then it was a couple of weeks later, I was at a bar in the valley called Dooley's, playing Pearls, bit dodgy, and I was at the bar and I heard a voice, and it ended up being the same fella who talked me into joining the cops.
Yeah.
And I looked at him, didn't look anything like him. He had bloody hair all over the place. He looked like, someone from what I called him was, you look like one of the roadies from John Bovey. John Bovey.
John Bon Jovi.
John Bon Jovi.
Yeah.
Cut. Our tribute band, He goes, well, all the rest of the band's over here, come and have a look.
the undercovers.
They were all the other undercovers, and they started telling about their stories, and I'm going, man, this sounds cool.
Yeah.
And they said, we actually got a course next month. We only run them every 2 years.
Yep.
I went, good timing.
You applied?
Did it. Got in.
What, without giving away trade secrets, just give us a sense of the type of course and the type of things they throw you into, because I know, I know a lot of UCs and what they have to go through, but it's testing you in a wide range of skills that are not necessarily the type of skills for normal policing.
Yeah. Like most of the police higher end courses where it's quite demanding.
Yeah.
Most of it is all set up to fail and see how you handle the failure. I suppose back then I'd already handled, in my eyes, a big setback. So anything further than that didn't really matter.
Yeah.
And my heart wasn't set on. I'll just do another thing. I don't care what it is. But this sounds cool. But Yeah, so they put you in really high stress situations, how you handle it. There were some really good ones. A lot of, scenarios with people that you don't even know, are they cops or they're real? Or
just throw you into a pub and tell you to come out with the number of or someone's address or things like that.
What's their dog's name?
Yeah. And the lifestyle that you lived, and that's what I touched on, your lifestyle you lived before you joined the cops. I describe it as reckless, which I think is a kind way. That would have helped you in those situations, because the type of things that the undercovers would throw you into during the course, I would imagine, is areas that you're very familiar with.
Yeah. I was in training.
Yeah.
Before I even knew it.
Yeah.
So, but I think the real part of the course was that the instructors were just watching how you held, how you behaved, how you dealt with stuff. If you were calm, dealt with it. Like we did a lot of drinking as well.
Yeah, get on the drink. Don't worry about where the undercovers and some people get a bit loose. And
they'd even get people to come in that night or whatever, just a random, and start talking to that person. It could be a girl, could be a bloke.
Yeah.
And if that person sort of says, "Oh, I'm on an undercover, course at the moment," you're gone.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Well, it's because the pressures are real, so they've got to weed people out. And, I don't begrudge them putting you through a pressure situation to get you qualified, because I see the type of work that you do as a UCs. Now, it also worked out, you got through, obviously, otherwise we wouldn't be having this conversation. You found solitude in the undercover work because it took you away from the pain that you were suffering as Todd. Is that fair to say?
100%.
Talk to us about that. What's the psychology behind that?
Well, I suppose, when I joined the undercover agent, the unit, they gave me a printed out piece of paper, and there's your name, Donny Wilson. And I've got that. I found it ages ago, and I laminated it and I put it in the book, and that's it. You go, that's you from now on. Really? Okay. So, take a car, head up to whatever town you're going to go to, and see you soon. So you go, this is it.
How much of Donny do you have to embrace? Like, it's got to stand up to scrutiny, and when you're going in on the crooks, they're sus of undercover people. So how much of a profile do you build, and how comfortable are you being Donny? Because if you walked into the pub, I'd go, "Hey Todd, how are you, mate?" But you're not Todd anymore, you're Donny. How much practice, how much preparation does it take to get into the mindset of becoming another person? Yeah,
heaps and heaps. All of my work colleagues and my family, close family, basically we all just, you never said Todd anymore.
Right.
Always call me Donny. Live it, breathe it, practice it. Have people yell out to you and see if you listen to Todd or Donny. When I was even sort of learning as I was going up to the course, I'd sit at a bar and I'd strike up a conversation, and I'd make up a topic that I had to bullshit on and see how far I could go. And it worked every time. So I just got better and better at it.
Did you fully embrace it? Is that what you have to do to be a good UC?
Yeah, I did.
You've got to have the swagger, whatever that is. How would you describe Donny too? Describe him as a person. What's his profile?
Donny's that crazy bloke. That would be the life of the party. He'd be in the middle of all the blokes telling a story. He'd do, if someone said, go and steal that, go and do that, go and do something stupid, Donny would do it.
Right.
There's this thing that a lot of my friends now are saying is, what would Donny do? Every time you're at a fork in the road, you either go the right way or the wrong way.
Yeah.
We always say, what would Donny do? Yeah, he'd do that. Go that way then.
Yeah. Okay. So steer you away from it.
Yeah. So it's now,
And it almost became where Todd was fighting with Donny to hold on to who you were.
Yeah, I wanted to stay Donny, and
because look, we're talking about it, but I could imagine it being a bit of a mind fuck.
I think my mind was already fucked.
Yeah. Fair enough. That's why you're the perfect. So Donny, I can play Donny. I actually am Donny.
Mate, like some days, you'd be at the pub all day,
Yeah.
playing pool, talking to your crooks and all that sort of stuff. You'd be getting messages from your controller saying, okay, that's enough, come on.
Yeah.
No, man, I'm having a great day. I'd rather be with them right now because I've got no worries with them.
Yeah.
I go back there, I've got statements, I've got transcripts, I've got all this sort of shit, and then I've got to think about being Todd.
And that's a part of the job when you talk about, you could be at a bar playing pool all day, drinking and building up contact, friendships and the type of things. Just so people understand, when you're saying controller, that's like a supervisor that's overseeing you. So if you're referencing your controller, that's someone that you're making contact with in the cops.
Yeah, a controller is a really good conduit between the undercover agent and headquarters.
Yeah, yeah.
And that person goes away with you, lives in a totally separate area, have minimal contact, but they are the ears and the eyes and whatever information that he can pass on to me.
So if I'm running from a detective's point of view, an investigation, I'm not contacting Donny directly.
No.
I'm contacting the controller. The controller's sifting through the information that comes back to me, all the information that goes to you.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Let's jump in and talk about a case. And one of the cases I'd like you to tell us about, just to give people a full understanding of what you actually do, Caboolture. I want you to talk about Marshall, Crystal, and Mad Madden. Because that was a wild story.
It was, yeah. That was
and this is, we sit here laughing, but you can laugh when you've survived through all this.
I can laugh now, yeah.
Yeah, you can laugh now. But tell us about that, because if people think that the UC work is like Miami Vice and living the good life, there's a lot of darker places that you go than living the high life when you're an undercover cop. Tell us the story about that case.
Yeah, it was up in Caboolture. It's a pretty sort of feral, sort of rough place. When you get involved in it, it's actually really cool joint, but they can weed out the weak ones there. So the informant that I had was only a young fella, and he wasn't really connected too high, so it was just street level. So I knew that I'd have to start with the street and just keep going up, because you always want to jump your next one and keep going. And anyway, so I'll meet Crystal and Marshall, because Crystal had a link somehow to the next person that we wanted to get to.
Yeah.
So, and this Marshall is someone that I just generally did not like. Not a nice person at all. And in his house at Caboolture, all there was a set of stereo DJ set. Just that was it, almost it. And as I drive into the street, you could hear the music, and it was always Eminem. It was always Eminem. Oh, I still can sing every word of it because I heard it over and over and over.
And that's so you're basically befriending Crystal and Marshall to get some drugs and work your way higher up in the pecking order.
Yeah. So I'd sort of go over there almost every day, and it was like, I'm chasing. Have you got anything? Yeah. What about that other stuff? And finally he goes, oh yeah, you got a car? Let's go. One of the best things that ever happened in Undercover was they gave me this car, and it was a yellow Vacationer, and it had the black and white Mukau car seats on the back.
Cool.
I was so proud. And it fit in really well in Caboolture.
Okay, you've just summed up the place you're working. Yeah.
So, and I always have, mixed cassettes and all that sort of stuff with all the different songs, and I loved always turning it up and just, ripping around. And anyway, he goes, let's go. And I was thinking it was going to be from Eddie Madden, but ended up being some other fella, and I was filthy. But I went, no, who knows where that's going to take us, and it could be something good, so let's just go for it. So as we're going down, he goes, I've got to go get some money out of the bank.
Yeah.
And when you had to do the slips and give it to the lady.
Yeah, withdrawals.
So I'm standing sort of at the back of the bank with Crystal, and you could see him getting all angry because he had a temper. And I'm surprised he didn't hit the teller. That would have caused some issues. But anyways, he's come back, And he was fucking fuming. You could see him, fucking his eyes wide. And he's going, Crystal, you fucking take money out of our account. And like she was doing, I had to get groceries, mate, and the junkies. And he just decked her. Decked her in the bank. And I think that was my first one where my identity went, am I Todd?
Yeah.
Am I Todd the copper? Or am I undercover and I'm going to ruin my...
Yeah.
So I think I stood there for ages like, what do I do? What do I do? I went, okay, I'm Donny. And you fucking don't do that again, you rotten mole.
So you stood over the top of her. How did that feel? Because that goes against all your instincts.
Shit.
And,
Shit, personally.
Yeah.
But as I sort of went back to the car...
But that gets you credibility in that world.
Oh, that was smart work, Todd.
Yeah. That was a good move.
Yeah.
But, you must have a distaste in your mouth when you see shit like that. And the type of people that marshal a piece of shit that,
And that poor girl, she come running back to the car, blood coming down her nose and shit like that, and she was apologising, still apologising. Oh, God. Okay. And it was like, this is the world I'm in now. Here we go.
So Donny's just got to carry on as if not shocked at all, and that you got what you deserved.
Yep.
And
that's the life they live, and she was still apologising.
Okay.
Anyway.
How did that job play out? Where did you get further up the line?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, but with that one, I kept on saying, "Do not bleed on my cow seats." I don't know how I'm going to fix them. And anyway, I gave her a tissue. Just put it on your nose. Yep. So we'd gone to Red Rooster at Deception Bay, picked up some gear, and they just couldn't wait. They couldn't wait. They're going, stop. So I said, no, there's fucking people everywhere. I finally found this sort of on the water, looking out that way. I'm going, no, I think we're all right. So they've got the needles out. Oh, how good.
Yeah.
The feel for steel, they were saying, yeah, get me right there. And I'm going, yeah, good, mate, yeah, good. I said, I don't like needles, you know that, yeah. And I pretended to bomb it, but I didn't. And anyway, I can hear Crystal dry reaching. I was like, fucking don't you dare fucking spew in my car seats. So I jumped out of the car and I ripped her out and I said, get the fuck out of here. And I thought, well, that's how you treat her. I don't know.
That's how Donny would.
Yeah. And as I saw that, I looked back over that way. It's a school, it's a primary school, and there's like 30 kids just looking through the tennis courts going, what's happening here? Oh, I went, oh no, this is not good. Boy, I've totally forgotten what Marshall's doing. But he's jumped around and he's in the driver's seat and he's going, let's go, motherfuckers. And I'm going,
he's on a high.
Yeah, it really hit him. So I raced around and his window up. No, jump in, Donny, jump in. I said, no, you're not fucking driving this car. And he goes, well, you snooze, you lose, man. She's jumped in the front seat.
Yeah.
So I've dived in the back seat just as he's taken off. And he is driving like he stole it.
Yeah.
He really was. It was out of control. It was just being crazy, knocking letterboxes over, hitting cars, going in the wrong way. They're screaming at each other, that they hate each other and they love each other, and then go faster, go slower, go, oh. I was like, oh.
I'm laughing at you, but no good situation to be in.
Yeah, it was comedy. It really was, but dangerous. But I remember specifically thinking in the back, where the fuck's this needle? I don't want to be hit with this needle, because I was getting thrown all over the place. I didn't get it, but I don't know what happened to it, but it must have still been outside. And anyway, this lunatic pulls out a hunting knife and puts it straight in her knee to shut her up.
Stabs her?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was I just went, what else is going to happen today?
What did you do? What did you do then?
He then slammed on the brakes,
Yep.
started crying, what have I done? I love you so much, blah, blah, blah. That's when I got out. I said, get the fuck out of my car. So I ripped both of them out, put them in the gutter, out of there. I'm going.
Yeah.
So I rang my controller. I think you better get an ambulance and some cops to this corner of the street.
Yeah.
So he ended up getting pinched, and she got fixed.
And did you get higher up?
I eventually did, yeah.
Yeah.
Got the real big fella, Madden. He was, one I was talking about before. The cops had worked on him many times, and he was too good. He was a really, really big speed cook, and I got him.
You the steps in there. There was passage in your book you describe him sitting in this doss house passing around dirty bongs and all that. You just got to suck it up, haven't you?
100%.
Like, you walk in there, like, this is an environment, and I don't think the general public would appreciate the level of deprivation that goes into these drug houses and what you're dealing with there. A lot of cops, depending on the nature of their work, would have seen those environments, and you just got to settle yourself in there and be part of that environment.
Yeah, I got told very early by one of the informants and crooks along the way as well, saying, we don't do it like you blokes. We don't bring a six-pack around and have six goals with each other,
Yeah.
We load the bong up and pass it around.
Yeah.
And if you're not prepared to do that, don't come. Because if you say no, they don't trust you. You're out.
They don't trust you. So how long did this job take, and how you're relocating to another town? You just can't turn up and go away and back home every day. Do you have to embed yourself in the town?
Pretty much.
Embedding yourself.
Yeah,
in
you want to be
community?
seen as much as possible. I was out all day, all night, just being in the town, just being outside. I wasn't stuck in my unit, so you just had to be seen all the time.
So that was part of your cover. That, you're up and about. How long did that job last?
It was 9 months all up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I could have dedicated a whole book to the whole thing, but I sort of skipped over to the main parts.
Yeah.
Because it was a fair bit of slogging out to keep getting. So I think with the closure we had something like 54 targets that I'd sort of got with another bloke as well. We both sort of looked at it at different angles, and there was a lot of people that got caught up in the net. So,
do you lose touch with your what your role is in that environment? Because I know if you embed yourself in anywhere, even if you're hanging around with crooks long enough, you start to build a rapport with them, whether you like it or not. Did you find that you changed? Does each job like that change you?
As it happens. As the time goes on, you get more anti-police. Obviously, when you start, you're still feeling like a police officer and you're trying to tell yourself not to. By the end of it, you're really anti-police because you've convinced yourselves to be like that and act like that when you're around the crooks.
Yeah.
Like whenever you see a cop car, you give it the finger and all that sort of what crooks do. And I just got too used to it.
So you changed. Did you get back to your family much at all? Did Todd come back during that period of time at different stages?
Yeah, I did over the times. There was one story I tell about in the book.
Yeah.
And it was just an indication of how my mindset was.
Yeah.
I think it was, I started in January in undercover work, and this was February.
Yeah.
And they were putting on a family dinner for me, and I was on my third day of a bender again, and I'd been drinking all day since sun up, and I was just steaming along. Phone was ringing. I knew there was a family do on for me.
Yeah.
I'm like, this will be too bad. I'm in a bad state. Anyway, my sister come and picked me up. She found out where I was, and there was a little bit to get me in the car. Finally got it and went, yep, okay, I'll go and do it. And I was that drunk that, I was at the restaurant with my family, and like I'm swearing and I'm talking fucking about, just that dickhead in the corner that was too drunk and talking, and everyone was just could hear what I'm saying. And I'm giving them sprays and giving the waiter sprays and all that sort of stuff because I was in that state, I hated the world, angry at what had happened to me, and alcohol sort of brought it out even more. But my dad and my brother kept on saying to me, just quiet it down and stop the swearing. I said, okay. I said it again. I just didn't know what else to say, I was used to it. And then Dad said, okay, we're going to charge you $1 for every time you swear. And they were just mucking around with it, just being fun, whatever. And I had something like $5,000 or $3,000 in my pocket of impress that was for a buy later in the week. And I got up and I slammed the money, the hundreds went everywhere, tipped up the table. I said, well, that should fucking cover it for the night then, isn't it?
Okay. got notes about that. I was going to raise that. I think I just called you a fuckwit or something when you
How do I say it?
with your family.
I've apologised.
You've described it, and I'm reading the book. That's what I was saying at the start. I was thinking I'm going to have to phone some blokes that know you and go, is this bloke, have we brought him back? Because I just on that aspect, I was reading thinking, this is bad. Yeah, when you're acting that way with your family, like that's how deep you went into the persona of Donny.
Yeah.
They take you to a family function and you're carrying on like an absolute dickhead.
I'm so embarrassed about it, but you know, I considered not putting it in the book, and I went, no, I've got to bear everything. I've got to own everything and all that sort of stuff.
I'm glad you did, because people need to you can't change your persona, go and do the type of work that the UC does, and when you're going undercover and expect them just to then return to a family function and behave themselves. You've been living the life of an outlaw, and you can't then sit at a family function and behave yourself.
Hard, yeah.
Although I do think you went too far.
I did.
On that occasion.
100% I did.
And you obnoxious prick,
Yep.
getting money out and throwing it there and tipping the table. Your family must have been really proud.
I just look back now, and they must have just been scratching their heads going, what can we do for him?
Yeah.
He's lost. He's not listening to us.
It would be sad for them, because they would be thinking they're losing you and doing everything they can to hang on to you, and they're losing you.
Yeah.
And seeing that.
You know, once I sort of got all of this, you know, and put it all together, and you know, I've apologised that many times, and you know, mums and dads don't want to hear that, but I feel better saying it.
Yeah. Well, it's probably the fact that you had a good family around you perhaps made the difference why you're here talking now.
True. Because
God knows where you would have headed after that. We might just take a break here. We're a little bit off Donny at the moment. we'll try in part 2. We'll try to get him back some.
I never said Donny was a nice person.
No, get him back some credit points. We've got a lot to talk about. Obviously, other crazy experiences. I want you to tell the story about your time in the bikie club, where you've been accused of being a cop and you're wearing a wire at the time, and how you managed your way through that. We'll be back shortly for part 2.
Cool. Thanks, Gary.